You can hear, okay. Finding a lot of cannot see? Not yet? What happened? No? What happened? What happened? Okay, now. Can you see? No? Not yet? Why this happen? What happened? Oh. What's the problem? No different. Okay, change. This is already connected, huh? Why this happen? What happened? Okay, one more. Check. Huh? What happened? It doesn't work. What happened? Do you have to do something new? Something? Do you have to do something? No?
Dạ nghe cô.
Huh? So, what happened?
Dạ con nghe luôn.
Huh? Kapia, what happened now? What to do? Walk in now? No walk in. What happened? No? What is the problem? Push straight. Pull straight. Don't twist. Why? Okay, wait. Skirt is shaking. Why is this? It does not work. If screen shake like this is the work actually. Give her. You don't have kiva. Another one. Why this happen? Okay, you can unplug. The same. Nothing different. Restart. Okay. Wait. What happened? Okay. Now the same. Okay. Okay, wait for a while. No change, is the same. It's not because of connector, right? It's something new, something strange. Broken? The same. Okay. Wait. No again? No. The same. The same. Why? Every day there's one problem. Right? Every day there's a problem. It takes very long time. Every day. Without problem, you cannot survive. So, what happened? Can take this me? What to do? What to do? Change it. changing. Okay. Let me see it again. See it again. What do we? Oh, let's say. Okay. Luckily, huh? Luckily. Okay, now we are being homage to the Buddha. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Okay, now we can continue Ahituka-citta, rootless consciousnesses. So you may have known we have 5 senses. We also say 6 senses. Now we can also talk about senses now. Oh, no, very wise Kapia, huh? The US Kapia. Okay. Ahituka-citta. That we can also talk about senses. So we have eyes, ear, nose, tongue, and body. We can see, hear, smell, taste, touch. Then every single sense. Every day we can also see, hear, smell, or taste, touch, good and bad things. So they are also called resetting consciousnesses. We have unwholesome resetting consciousnesses. We also have wholesome resetting consciousnesses. The first one, how is happen or beer? Equanimity associated unconsciousnesses. So in this part, why is not pleasant feeling? If we see the sign of it should be pleasant feeling. Why? Equanimity. Actually, unconsciousness can arise only one time in the mental process. This is a resetting consciousness. We just have wholesome or unwholesome happiness. Of course, when we are born as a human being or as divine beings, there will be resetting consciousness associated with happiness. Okay, similarly, we also have ear consciousness, nose consciousness, tongue consciousnesses. They associate with equanimity, equanimous feeling. So this is the first part we have to know. Then we have second part. Oh, it's like this, huh? Why did this happen? No, it's not BDFI. Here, this is slideshow. Here, number. This is slideshow. No, not BDFI. Maybe something, maybe. Okay, anyway, let it be. So here we have a wholesome resetting consciousness. The first one is pain-associated bodily consciousness. So this is also one of the things. When we have something painful in our body sensation, there's also unwholesome resetting consciousness. So this is for unwholesome resettant. Your previous one, eyes, ears, nose, tongue. It can be both wholesome or unwholesome resultant. If pain associated or displeasure associated body consciousness, it will be unwholesome resultant. Then another thing is equanimity associated receiving consciousness. Okay, here receiving means our mind will receive the object, or we may accept the object. This is called receiving consciousness. Equanimity associated investigating consciousness. That means sometimes our mind will investigate good and bad. So these are Ahituka-citta. Although we say eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body consciousness easily, but there are many other conditions. For example, when we see something, then there will be some supporting condition for it. Our eye translucency must be good enough. If our eyes are not good enough, we cannot see clearly. The second one, the visible object. The visible object must be clear enough. Then when it's not very quite clear, we cannot see it. We have another one. This is the light. If we don't have light in this room, it's totally dark, we cannot see. There are many visible objects, but we also have good eyesight. Because of darkness, we cannot see it. The most important thing is intention. If you don't pay attention to it, we cannot see it. You must pay attention. So these are the conditions for seeing. We can also say the conditions for eye consciousness. Similarly, we have ear consciousness. There are also supporting conditions for ear consciousnesses. So this means, as we have already talked about eye translucency, we also say ear translucency. Our ear must be good enough to hear. Sometimes our ear is not so good enough, we cannot hear clearly. Another thing is that the sound, the audible object, it must be clear enough. Sometimes the sound is so soft, we cannot hear clearly. Another thing is that space between sound and ear translucency. If there's no space, if we block the space, we cannot hear anymore. The last one is that, as usual, I already mentioned before, in attention. If we don't pay attention to the sounds, we cannot hear it. So these are the conditions for ear consciousness. When we have all these conditions, ear consciousness will arise. If we don't have these conditions, we cannot hear anything. Ear consciousness cannot arise. Similarly, nose consciousness. When we smell something, then you have already known our nose translucency must be good enough. You may have experience when you have sneezy or running nose, you cannot smell anything. But the main thing is our nose must be good enough to smell something. Another thing is the smell must be clear enough. If smells are not so strong or not so clear, we cannot smell it. Now the next one is one element. For example, the wind will bring the smell from upwind, right? Upwind to downwind, right? we can smell it. If we live upwind, we cannot smell. Although there's a good odor or some object, okay, as usual, attention. If we don't pay attention, we cannot smell it. So these are the conditions for smell or nose consciousness. Then we have tongue consciousness. It should be the same. Our tongue must be good enough to taste. At the same time, the taste must be clear enough or strong enough. Moreover, there must be water element. If totally dry, we cannot taste. The last one, as usual, attention. These are the conditions for taste. Then we can have tongue consciousnesses. Okay, for our body, we must have body translucency. And for example, there are some very weak body translucency, some part of the body. For example, some skin are dead already, right? That means we cannot feel anything when somebody touch. Okay, for example, in our head hair, we have very little sensitivity. Although people touch our head hair, we cannot feel it. Especially those who have very long hair. If somebody touch their head hair, they cannot feel it. Similarly, toenails or fingernails, right? Very little sensitivity. But if we touch very tight, maybe very strong, we can feel. It's just soft touch, we cannot feel it. Okay, the main thing is we must have body sensitivity or body translucency. It must be clear enough, strong enough. Another thing is a tangible object. Object must be clear enough. Another one is the earth element. This is one of the supporting causes of sensation. Then the last one is attention. So these are the conditions for eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and body consciousnesses. So without these conditions, we cannot see, hear, smell, taste, or feel or sensation. So these can be wholesome resultant, they also can be unwholesome resultant. Okay, we have to continue some variations of only wholesome resultant. So we have already mentioned the last three of unwholesome resultant. Okay, and now in the slide, I have already shown the three. These three are unwholesome resultant. Then we may have different parts. Pleasure associated body consciousness. This is a wholesome resultant. We may see good object, we may see bad object. We can also understand, we may see desirable object, we may also see undesirable object. We may smell desirable, undesirable. We may taste. We may also feel something desirable, undesirable. So here, in the case of wholesome resultant, it will be pleasure-associated body consciousness. For equanimity-associated receiving consciousness, we have mentioned before, they are additional, joint-associated investigating consciousness. This is additional for wholesome resultant. The last one, equanimity-associated investigating consciousness. This also as mentioned before. So these are wholesome resultant, unwholesome resultant. We also have functional consciousnesses. Okay, we have equanimity associated phytoadaptation consciousness. Okay, here. What does it mean phytoadaptation consciousness? In every single mental process, there's an adaptation mind to see, hear, smell, taste, touch. This might arise in the very beginning of mental process. Then this is called equanimity associated phytoadaptation consciousness. Similarly, equanimity associated mind-adaptation consciousness. So phyto, very clear, mind me in our heart, right? Then finally, pleasure associated smile producing consciousness. So this mind producing consciousness can arise only in Buddha, Vajrasattva Buddha, and Arhat. So Buddha will never laugh. Vajrasattva Buddha will never laugh. Arhat will never laugh. I mean, if you see an Arhat laughing very loudly, be careful, right? You cannot know how many Arhat you have seen in Nepal. Right? That's why some Arhat will laugh very loudly, be careful, right? Then you can also see some Arhat are crying. Right? So be careful with that kind of Arhat, right? If they laugh, shaking their body, more careful. Okay, now we have to talk about this rootless consciousness first. Okay, now you can imagine we have two types of eye consciousnesses, two ear consciousnesses, two nose consciousnesses, two tongue consciousnesses, two body consciousnesses. Then we have two receiving consciousnesses, but three investigation consciousnesses. Unwholesome, one, and the wholesome resultant, there are two. Joint associated, equanimity associated, right? Receiving will be three. Then we have two adaptation consciousnesses, phytoadaptation, mind-adaptation. The last one is smile produce. Altogether 18 types of rootless consciousnesses. So they are neither unwholesome nor wholesome. They are just resultant. So now we have to move the next step. KΑΜΑΒΑＣARA-SOBHANA-CITTA. So here we have to introduce a few things about Sobhana. Sobhana means beautiful. Beautiful sensual sphere consciousnesses. So there will be three types. Here I didn't list out in the list. There will be 8 wholesome consciousnesses, 8 resultant consciousnesses, 8 functional consciousnesses, altogether 24. Okay, now let's start with wholesome. Joint associated wholesome consciousnesses with knowledge imprinted. So you can also record in your daily life. When you are doing something good, how many times have you been happy? If you can do some wholesome deed happily, joint associated. So you also know it's beneficial, useful, effective, right? You just think about effectiveness or good results, then with knowledge. Nobody forces you to do. You willingly do by yourself, unprompted. The best quality. Right? This is the best quality of wholesome, right? So this is very important. That's why last night I have already shown in the fine, when we are doing dana, happiness before offering, or joy before offering, joy wine offering, joy after offering, right? Joy associated. We may have pleasant feeling in our mind. Then we also have to think about the benefit, the welfare of receiver. Is something useful for receiver, is worthy, right? Not associated. We must be wise enough to offer. The unprompted, of course, we do willingly. Nobody forces us to do. So these are the conditions for the first types of consciousness. Okay, now 2. Joy associated, wholesome consciousness with knowledge, prompted. This also should be good quality. Only the last one. Somebody force you, encourage you to do. Then you may have a question, right? Who can get more merit if we do ourselves, or encourage another, or encourage by other, right? You may have this kind of question. It depends. For example, somebody will encourage you to go to meditation retreat. You come here unwillingly. But the one who encouraged you was very happy, sitting in the hall, no? Oh, he's now meditating well. Right? He's happier than actual meditator, real meditator. How it happened? So they're meditating in the meditation hall, homesick. Because forced by other people, right? Forced by parents or friends, or encouraged by friends or parents, came to meditation retreat, sitting on the hall, think about family, think about the friends. But the one who encouraged you is happy at home. Every day, every moment he remember you. Right? So you can also imagine how will happen. Who can gain more merit? Okay, it depends on how long you work for it. Right? How willingly you do it. Okay, now we have to move to the next one. Joy associated wholesome consciousness without knowledge. Okay, so in this case, we should remember, how many times have you ever wasted your property? Right? Sometimes we offer very valuable things, but receiver didn't use, neglect the property. He didn't need. For example, you may offer, right, Nepalese Tipitaka to me, very valuable. I cannot read Nepali. Right? Okay, similarly, I will offer you one Vietnamese Samrera and also Nepali Bhikkhu, right? I will offer Myanmar version, Myanmar Tipitaka version to Vietnamese Samrera and Nepali Bhikkhu. They cannot read. They cannot read it. They wasted my property. So we must be wise enough, worthy of spending our money. Right? I'm a bhikkhu, I don't need to work very hard to earn money. But for you, you have to work very hard to earn money, right? So that means sometimes we have to think about, is it worthy or not? Not associated. It will affect it or not. Okay, unprompted, we do it willingly. It's a wholesome. Right? It's very wholesome. Good thing. But not that much effective because we are not that much knowledgeable. Also, we are doing willingly. Right? Actually, okay, I will give you one example. A few years ago, one of the foreign Sayalay, she's not from other country, right? She's also one of the Faudoya Sayalay, so she sent me one message. She's going to make Tipitaka scripture, Tipitaka marvel slab in her country. You know, marvel, very expensive. She will write Tipitaka on marvel slab. You can imagine how much it will cost. Right? She sent me that kind of message. I'm just replying, very simple. In the technological, in the modern, now we're going to say AI now, right? At the time, we don't have AI, not that much popular AI. Just the IT, right? So technology. In this kind of technological age, do you need marble slab? Then she changed her mind. Sometimes we just want to be popular. We just want to show we are doing something, right? Not that much wise. Spending a lot of money. Not that much beneficial for our community. So this means is a kusala, but without knowledge, without wisdom. Of course, we are doing willingly. Right? This kind of kusala also can be. Just example of dana. You can also imagine sila, samadhi. If we are wise, if we are doing well, if we are doing willingly, it will be effective. If we are unwise, unwilling, it will be very weak. That's one. The next one. Joint associated wholesome consciousness without knowledge, prevented. So you can also imagine how it will be. Right? Somebody forks, somebody encouraged to do something, then we don't have any wisdom, any knowledge. Just do, like a ritual. Right? Just write in ritual. We don't know anything. That kind of thing also can happen. I don't know your knowledge about Katina in Nepal. In Myanmar, many donors offer for Katina robe. Even they didn't know what's the meaning of Katina. Even they didn't know, even they didn't join Katina ceremony properly. Right? Anyway, the main thing is, if join associated, also without knowledge, print it. Anyway, we have happiness. You can rejoice. Some is good for beginner, right? Okay, now we have to move. The next one. Equanimity associated wholesome consciousness with knowledge and unprompted. Most of the time we have a neutral feeling, equanimity. I already talked about it when we explain Lobha Mula Citta. Every day we are happy. How many times, how many minutes, how many seconds do you really feel happy in one day? If you can calculate, I think less than 1 minute maybe, right? Only very few times, very few moments we can feel very happy. Mostly we have neutral feeling, neutral mind. But sometimes some conditions, so we are doing something well. Right? Even I myself, sometimes if we can support somebody to be better or do very well, I can feel happy for a few days maybe. Okay, practically, when you read in the text, you may have known many people when they do some offering, when they have opportunity to listen to Dhamma Talk, they were very happy. They were so happy that they couldn't sleep, they couldn't eat for many days. Have you ever read this kind of story? When you read some Dhamma story or some biography of Arhat in their past lives, you may have known this kind of thing. In your life, how many times have you ever felt happy like this? For many years, or for many days, without eating, without sleeping. Okay, you may have some happiness in your life, maybe a few days, maybe 2 or 3 days maybe. Right? I remember my life. When I finished school, I cannot eat well. I cannot sleep well. Oh, I'm finished. Right? I can rest now. Then this is the only happiness I have ever experienced in my life. Only a few days left, not 1 week. Right? Okay, that means you may have maybe some similar or maybe a little bit happiness. I'm not sure how many days you can feel happy. Okay, that kind of things can happen. Okay? Mostly we have neutral feeling. After a few days happiness, everything becomes normal. Normal happiness. Of course, when we can recall some of our success, we can feel happy, right? If we can recall some of our achievements, we can feel happy. Only for sometimes. Similarly, some of our good character or our kindness in the past, if we can recall, we can also feel happiness. Similarly, we may have done some dana or sila or any good things we have done in the past. Some of the things will can bring happiness whenever we recall. This is very limited, right? But sometimes people also talk about many stories, right? Okay, by offering a very small amount, he can get divine mention, many lives. He can be reborn as a human being, many lives, as Deva, many lives. You may have known this one. You may have read when you study something about biography of Mahathera, Arhat. Right? Okay, one more thing. Traditionally, we have one statement. If we listen to the Dhamma Talk, then 9 kappa we will not be deepen in the hell. This is a traditional saying, right? 9 kappa too long, right? But it depends on the quality of listening. How you listen to the Dhamma Talk. Right? If we request for Dhamma Talk, 8 kappa, you will not be deepen in the hell. Too long, right? It depends on how you request or what you request also. Then Dhamma talker will not be reborn in the hell for 1 Sankhya. Too long, right? I'm a Dhamma talker. Right? It depends on what kind of Dhamma talk you give. Right? I get Dhamma talk. I make my life a little bit higher, right? If you don't pay $10,000 in one Dhamma talk, I will not get. You have to pay to listen to my Dhamma talk. With this kind of mindset, don't expect 1 Sankhya. Right? Anyway, sometimes people talk about quality, by doing this kind of merit, we can get this kind of result, this kind of result, this kind of result. They expect very high result, doing very simple things. Okay, you may have known one lady, she offer only, right, pancake, piece of pancake to Venerable Mahakassapa, that she could achieve a lot, for example, right? We just talk about how she achieved, what she achieved. We never think about how she was happy, how much she was happy at the time. That's why here equanimity, right? Mostly we have equanimity, neutral feeling. Don't expect that kind of quality. Okay, now one more step. Equanimity is associated wholesome consciousness with knowledge, pronted. This is also normal, encouraged by somebody we do. Sometimes we have to encourage ourselves to do something good, right? Okay, now, a few more steps. Equanimity is associated wholesome consciousness without knowledge, unpronted. We do willingly, without any happiness, without knowing the consequences of the effort. We just waste our money, just following right and ritual. This is also unpronted, right? We do willingly. The last one, equanimity is associated wholesome consciousness without knowledge, pronted. The weakest. Wholesome, right? Okay, if we summarize, there are 4 types of wholesome associated with joy, knowledge, unpronted. There are also 4 types of wholesome: equanimity, knowledge or without knowledge, right? Similarly, pronted or unpronted. So these are wholesome. Then we also have similar 4 as resultant consciousnesses. Because this wholesome will bear the fruit, it will produce results. That's why there are also 8 types of resultant consciousness. Here I just talk about wholesome, right? Just check and do resultant consciousnesses. For example, we do dharana in this very life. When we pass away, the next life will be reborn as a deva. So we have already accumulated the first types of wholesome, joyful, not associated, also unpronted. That the next life, it will give result in the deva realms. The same result, right? In the deva realms. So then we can be very joyful. Not only that, we will be wise because it's associated with knowledge. Then, as unpronted, we will do willingly. So similarly, there are also 8 functional consciousness. For example, if an arahat do dana, it's not kusala, it's a functional. His dana cannot produce any future life. Similarly, arahat will do sila. This is only functional. It cannot produce any result in the future. Then one more thing, you may have a little bit curiosity about knowledge associated. They are arahats. Why knowledge associated? Why they have that kind of consciousness without knowledge, without wisdom? Okay, we should give one example. Here we have daily chant. Sometimes your mouth is chanting, right? Your mind is not focusing on the chanting. How many times it happens? Every day. Right? Habitually, because you are very familiar with chanting, habitually you are chanting, but you don't know the meaning. You're not focused on the chanting. Right? If you chant alone, when you remember you are missing, you will get confused. What is I'm chanting? Right? Like you are group in the group chanting, it's okay. Right? This is just example. Okay, similarly, an arhat contemplate Namarupa as anicca, dukkha, anatta like this. Sometimes, although they don't clearly know Namarupa, they still contemplate anicca, dukkha, anatta because of habit. When an arhat do something habitually, knowledge is associated. It also can be equanimity. Right? That is why it's also possible for arhat. Okay. So now we have to continue the conditions for these types of consciousnesses. 3 causes of joy, somanasa. So you may do dana. What kind of them make you joyful? The first one, strong faith, saddha. When you have very strong faith, whatever thing you do, you will do willingly, very strong. If we don't have saddha, we have a lot of discounts, a lot of bargaining. Right? For example, right? 10 precepts is too much. Why don't we do 8 precepts? You will need discount, right? Novel 8 4 parts is too much. What about Novel 7 4 parts? Right? You need discount, right? So do see nimitta take very long time. What about without nimitta? To take jhana is too long. What about without jhana? That means if we don't have strong saddha, we may ask for discount. If we have strong saddha, no discount. We will do willingly, very strong, determined. So we'll be happy for our practice, or our acceptance, our determination. Another one, having wisdom and insight. Of course, if we are wise, we know the benefits, we know the consequences, we'll feel happy, we can do well. Okay, now the last one. Having both offering, worthy of respect, okay, having object worthy of intention. Worthy of attention, right? Okay, one more thing here. Offering, your donation also good quality. Receiver is also good quality. It will make you happy more. Right? Okay, practically, we should just compare. Although we should not compare also this one, right? For example, offering to Sayadaw, offering to Kovida. Practical. Which one make you happy? Practical comparison. But we should not compare, right? This channel should not compare also. Just example. Okay, one more thing. We should not compare also, and should compare a few more, right? Offering to Venerable Sariputta, offering to Sayadaw. If Venerable Sariputta is still alive. Okay, now, the Buddha and the Venerable Sariputta. Right? Different feeling, different happiness. Right? Why this happen? I should not compare myself with Sayadaw because he's very old. Like long time he was doing. Right? Maybe his half year, maybe my lifetime is only half of his age. Right? Half of his age, you can also imagine his investments. We should not compare, right? So that means if receiver is worthy, we will feel happy more. That is when the Buddha said, choose receiver. You must choose receiver. That can make you happy. Okay, we should say a few more then. Okay, let alone, don't compare with anybody, right? We should say, no, don't put aside all the personality. Right? If I say, oh, go with the hand and power, this is just personality, right? Put aside. Just talk about moral value. You may have seen some bhikkhu, their behaviors are very well, very good. Their character is also very good. They have very strong kindness, very much patient. You may also have seen ill-manner bhikkhu. Who will you choose? Of course, you will choose good behavior, well-behaved bhikkhu, well-mannered bhikkhu. Right? It will make you happy. So that means if we have worthy offering, worthy receiver, it will make us happy. This is just an example. This is the only dharana. Okay, what about sila? Of course, if we feel it's worthy, we'll feel happy. Right? For example, that we have opportunity to kill some animal, but we avoid killing. Right? Then, okay, don't talk about killing, just saving life. So we may see some squirrel on the trap we just released. The squirrel will jump over here and there after releasing. Right? So when seeing that, we can feel happy. Because it's worthy, right? Make somebody happy. Make something happy, some other animal happy. Okay, this is just an example. Although we save life, okay, let them happy. Okay, one more then. We have already talked about Adinadana, Kamsumicachara, right? Okay, so that means we just have somebody not to be cheated by, right? Their friends or their partners or anything, right? We just have them. After that, we see him or her happy. We also feel happy. Just supporting somebody with kindness. So if we feel something worthy, we will feel happy. This is the nature of wholesome. Okay, we should move to the next one. The 4 causes of knowledge associated, jnana samyutta. Having karma that produces wisdom. So in the past, we may have accumulated many kusala karma, right? Some of the kusala karma will produce wisdom. Actually, you may have known many types of wisdom producing karma, right? For example, if we offer food, right? You may know the benefits. How many benefits? If you offer water, how many benefits? If you offer a robe, also 8 parikaras, you may have known how many benefits you have got. You can get it. So, okay, in the past, there must be some karma you have done that can produce wisdom. Then you may have knowledge associated, kusala, wholesome. Another one, having been born in the Brahma realms. Okay, you can also know Venerable Mahakassapa, Bhattakapilani, the couple. Although they got married, they have brotherly and sisterly love. Later, then the man became Venerable Mahakassapa. Wife became Bhattakapilani, right? Bhikkhuni. So they were born as the Brahmas in their previous life. That's why when they were born as a human being, they don't have too much attachment. Their mind is pure. So that means when our mind is pure, it will produce more wisdom. Okay, now it will make clear the last one. No, sorry. Maturity of faculties. If our faculties are mature, you have already known 5 controlling faculties, right? If 5 controlling faculties are mature, it will produce wisdom. Okay, the last one, the most important one for everybody, that one is being distant from defilements. So that means if our mind is far from defilements, it will produce better, stronger wisdom, brighter wisdom. Okay, now you can practically feel in your daily life. When you have defilements, your mind is not quite clear. So one day, if you have maybe less defilements, your mind become more clear, clearer, purer also, right? All your decision, all your point of view are very clear. When you have very strong defilements, it's very, very messy in your mind. So defilements will make wisdom faculties weaker. If we don't have wisdom, we have stronger wisdom. Okay, we can also say another way. Weaker defilements, stronger wisdom. Stronger defilements, weaker wisdom. This with the effect. Okay? So these are the 4 causes of knowledge-associated consciousnesses. What about prompted and unprompted? Now we also have to talk about it, right? So we have already talked about suitable conditions. You may remember suitable conditions? I will review. Okay, we should review this one, right? For example, having suitable living place. This is also one of the suitable conditions, right? Having suitable food. It will make your mind clear, wiser. Now, the Udu Sapaya, having suitable weather, suitable climate. If it's too hot, your mind will be not that much active. Too cold, more drowsy, right? Then again, Bukala Sapaya, having suitable individual, it can be like a friend or teacher. So when we have all these conditions, this will lead to physical and mental strength. It will make our mind stronger. It will be unprompted. Then there's also one more condition. This is a frequency or habitual. If we have habit of doing dana, we become skillful. Then we may feel more happy. Similarly, if we have habit of sila, we know the value, right? Then it will be unprompted. We will do naturally, willingly. Then there will be many other value that can support unprompted, right? We will be unwilling. For example, in the case of dana, sometimes we are prompted. There can be many different conditions. For example, our donation is very poor, very little, very limited. We hesitate to offer. Sometimes we also feel inferior, right? If I offer this one, will he accept? He's a very high-ranking bhikkhu, very famous bhikkhu, right? Then we also hesitate because of poor quality. Another thing is if we have very limited resources, we also hesitate, right? Should I offer? Should I keep it for me? We may hesitate, right? Sometimes because of lack of habit, we may hesitate. This is also possible. So sometimes, like, although we have good quality, right? We have good quality, right? Then, okay, good quality. I should use for myself, maybe I should offer poor quality. We also have that kind of mind, right? If too good, too poor, too bad, for example, right? Then lack of resource, the first time, we are not that much strong. In this case, it will be blunted. Okay, these are the conditions for wholesome conditions, because we are not yet arhat, we cannot have functional, right? So you may have already known 10 bases of meritorious deeds. Dana, Sila, Bhavana, and 10 types, right? Maybe I should introduce you maybe tomorrow, maybe today, late already, right? So, anyway, these are our daily life. So far, we have already talked about agusala, lobha, greed-rooted, hatred-rooted, delusion-rooted. We also talk about sense consciousnesses. Then we also have talked about wholesome consciousnesses. These are our daily life. When you are doing some what happened?
Sayadaw, there is one question on Zoom. Venerable Sayadaw, if a bhikkhu has already attained Sotapanna, is it impossible for him to disrobe and get married? Sadhu, sadhu.
Actually, it's impossible, right? Maybe they might be inclined to disrobe, but they will not disrobe. So that all the noble persons, they just expect higher attainment, higher life. They will not go back to lower life, right? So that means if you see some Sotapanna bhikkhu disrobe, then you must consider.
Dạ,
Right?
cho con hỏi.
Okay.
Dạ, thưa Sayadaw, cho con hỏi tội chia rẽ tăng là gì? Đối tượng của tội chia rẽ tăng là ai? Xin Sayadaw cho một vài cái tình huống ngày nay có thể dẫn đến cái tội chia rẽ tăng.
Sayadaw, he asked about the divide the sangha. I forgot.
Sangha Veda, schism. Schism.
Sangha schism. So in what case and in what the subject of Sangha schism is who and how to make it Sangha schism completed. And nowadays, in what case we can say one make a Sangha schism?
Okay. You can see, right? Luckily, I have all these notes. You can see the 80 are. Okay? We can say 9 pair. Okay, for example, showing what is the note Dhamma as a Dhamma. Okay, for your understanding, we have Kusala. This is Dhamma, right? Akusala is Adhamma. If you change the topic, Akusala is a Kusala, Kusala is a Akusala. Then you may attract bhikkhu to follow your idea. I mean, a bhikkhu may attract bhikkhu, right? Persuade a bhikkhu to follow your wrong idea. It can be foundations of schism. You know, here true. Showing what is not Vinaya as a Vinaya, Vinaya as a no Vinaya. Okay. Yeah, you can read by myself, right? I will not say all the things. Just an example. So if we have these kind of conditions, that means where it can be ground for schism. Okay, we can say just ground for schism, right? The real schism is, for example, in the Sima, when they are going to do something, going to do some activity, whether the Patimokha or Bhavarana or any Sangha Karma, then he may say, no, I don't accept this kind of thing, I just accept this kind of thing, I don't believe this one, I just believe this one, please follow me. Right? Then Sangha will not do Patimokha together, split it. This is really called schism. Right? So that means for a lay person, you must be very careful about foundations or ground for schism, the 18. Okay? Anything? No question in the Zoom? Okay. Okay.
One name is Sayadaw. Regarding resultant consciousness, does seeing desirable objects such as flower spend one's good karma? Similarly, does seeing undesirable object consumes one bad karma? Should we seek out undesirable experiences?
Okay. We can say they are produced by good and bad karma. So we can also understand like that. But one more thing. Wholesome and unwholesome come from present cause. Although you see something undesirable, if you have a wise attention, it can be kusala. Right? For example, dead body is undesirable, right? But if you do asubha meditation, although it's undesirable, it's a kusala. You can see something undesirable because of akusala. When you have wise attention, you can have kusala. Okay? Anything? Okay, anything? No question. 2 questions, okay. 3 questions, okay.
Sayadaw, may we ask for the link for Sayadaw's handbook for meditators?
Yeah,
Sayadaw's book, Handbook for Meditators.
Okay.
Where is the? They are asking the link.
Or link. I haven't uploaded yet. Huh? Mostly I can send through Bhaiva maybe.
Another question. Venerable Sayadaw, if a bhikkhu connects with a group of laymen and laywomen, can he share pictures regarding donations and sceneries?
Can bhikkhu and?
Can bhikkhu send pictures of donations to lay people?
Okay. For rejoice is okay. It doesn't matter. Right? So for our hinting to offer, we should not send, right? For example, okay, I will show I'm doing some dana in some area. I share my picture with some devotee for rejoicing. I've already done the dana already. Right? I don't need your support anymore. Okay, another thing is before doing donation, right, I will upload, I'm going to do this kind of dana, that kind of dana in the social media, right? Like a fundraising. This is like a hint that people do offer. Right? That kind of behavior is not that good for bhikkhu.
Another question. Venerable Sayadaw, what is Sila Bhatta Paramasa? If someone keeps the precepts with a worried or anxious mind, constantly afraid of breaking them or not observing them correctly, would that be considered Sila Bhatta Paramasa?
Okay, in the case of Sila Bhatta Paramasa, we can also understand it's a useless things, meaningless thing you are doing. Right? It can be traditional way, but not that much useful. Just join, that kind of things can be considered as Sila Bhatta Paramasa, right? In the case of undertaking precepts, it is useful for the community. Although you don't have good intention, you don't harm anybody, right? Of course, if you are wise enough, or if you have good intention, it's better. For example, you're scared of being born in the hell. That's why you just undertake precepts. It's just for your own welfare. It's not for the welfare of anybody. Right? This kind of sila is not recommendable. No high-ranking sila. Okay? Okay, for example, you don't kill any animal out of compassion, out of sympathy, empathy. In this case, it's recommendable. This is high-ranking morality. Okay? So it depends on how you understand what's your purpose, how's your attitudes. It can be different value. So in the case of Sila Bhatta Paramasa, as long as it's useful for people, community, although you have bad intention, it doesn't matter. Of course, if your good intention there's stronger karma, right? Okay, then? Okay.
वन्दना स्याडो कोही व्यक्तिले निर्माणको मार्ग भनेर राम्रो चित्त राखेर गलत किसिमको ध्यान सिकाउँछ भने ध्यान सिकाउँछ भने त्यो ध्यान गर्नेलाई निर्माणको पारमी बन्छ कि बन्दैन होला?
So someone has good intention and he teaches wrong meditation technique, but he says that it leads to Nibbana. Because he have good intention to teach people good meditation to reach to Nibbana, but the technique is not correct. So in this case, will the people who practice, who follow them, also have parami or not?
Okay. In the case of parami, what do we expect it? Actually, if we do meditation, for example, jhana, right? It can be nekama parami. If we do vipassana, it can be panya parami. Okay? So in this kind of case, of course, it's not the mistake, not the mistake of follower. Right? This is not the follower mistake, right? Because they have lack of knowledge, lack of information. That's why they may follow easily. Anyway, it's also beneficial for their lifestyle. They come to know how to relax their mind, how to make peaceful life. Also useful anyway, right? But to attain Nibbana is very far. To make yourself peaceful, you can do any method. Right? Even you count the number, right? Close eye, although you don't have any meditation subject. Close eye, counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, also, you can calm down. You can make yourself peaceful. Right? Okay, the main thing is, if you have some spiritual development, find following some tradition, okay, we can also say it's a Siddhabhata Paramasa. It's something useful. Sometimes it's not that much useful, but you just keep following the same tradition, although you cannot improve. Right? But in this case, it's a little bit risky for your future. Okay, if I summarize, it's not follower mistakes. It's the leader's mistakes. Okay? Okay now? Any other question? Only a few minutes. 2 questions. Okay. 2 questions in the Zoom.
Wanami Sayadaw, please Sayadaw advise, what does it mean to humiliate a bhikkhuni in public, including a schism in the Sangha? Then what applies to bhikkhunis in today's era? Thank you, Sayadaw.
I'm not quite clear. Right? I don't know. Right? So I'm saying I'm not quite clear, so I don't know. My answer is I don't know.
Another question, Sayadaw. Is it true that if we share our meditation experiences to other or to someone, we will not be successful in meditation? Is it true?
Okay, one more thing, right? In some cases, only you can experience. Your experience and other people's experience will be different. For example, the way you start experiencing nimitta and the way other meditators experiencing nimitta will be different. Even the shape, the color, the place you see nimitta will be different. So sometimes we can share, but sometimes if we emphasize our own experience too much, it will mislead other meditators. Right? So that means, okay, you can share how you have been, you calm down your mind, no problem. You can also share, okay, how you can harmonize your mind with the breath, okay, it doesn't matter. If you share many experience, I see jhana feta like this, I understand jhana feta like this, it will be very messy for the listeners. Okay? You know? No more question? Okay. Can you go far? Huh? No more? Oh, Junior.
Bandami Sayadaw, when we give dana, does the receiver also get punya or not?
Okay, it depends. Huh? For example, you offer me an exercise books, right? You offer me exercise book, right? You're also happy. Then I'm happy double. Then whose merit is stronger? Okay, another example, right? Then you offer me an exercise books and say, too little, why you offer this kind of books? It should be more than that. I cannot be happy. Right? In this case, you can accumulate kusala, I cannot accumulate kusala. Okay? Later we also have like a punya numodana, rejoicing in other people's merits, right? If we can rejoice more, then we can also get more. If we cannot rejoice more, then we cannot rejoice, right? Then we're going to get merit, meritorious deed. It depends on how is it receiver's mind, right? Okay. Okay. No more? Okay. One more question.
Dạ thưa sư, cho con hỏi là ví dụ như có những cái phương pháp mà nó có tác động tích cực đến cái kiểu như là giúp cho mình tích cực hơn hoặc là năng động hơn, nhưng mà về cái nguyên lý á, thì nó lại không có đúng với chánh pháp, thì nếu như mình đã biết vậy rồi mà mình vẫn kiểu như mình áp dụng nó thì có phải là mình gieo một cái nhân tà kiến của mình để giống kiểu như trong những cái kiếp sống sau thì mình dễ rơi vô kiểu tà kiến không cô? Ví dụ như con biết một cái tổ chức đó, thì sau khi mà tham dự cái khóa học đó thì người ta sẽ kiểu người ta có thể kiểm soát tâm họ được kỷ luật hơn, động lực hơn, nhưng mà theo cái nguyên tắc là người ta sẽ vận dụng vào một cái tưởng nhiều hơn, người ta sẽ có những tăng trưởng cái tưởng của mình nhiều, xong rồi người ta sẽ dựa vào cái tưởng đó, rồi người ta sẽ phát triển các cái kiểu như các cái tham mà dựa vào tưởng á, rồi người ta sẽ định hướng cho cái tưởng đó phát triển để cho mình vươn đến cái tưởng đó. Nhưng mà theo nguyên tắc thì theo như con biết thì những cái tưởng đó là không có đúng. Thì khi mà mình nó có tác dụng tích cực đối với hiện tại, nhưng mà con không biết là nó có gieo cái nhân tà kiến cho mình không.
Sayadaw, she asked that nowadays there are some tradition, some practice, some kind of practicing that make people feel more energetic, feel more positive, but it's a bit contrast with the Dhamma, opposite with the Dhamma. So if somebody follow it, maybe it is helpful in this life, in daily life, but in the long term, maybe it's mislead to the higher spiritual practice. So she also make clearer how is it in opposite with the Dhamma. Maybe some methods they use more imagination. And based on that imagination, they may increase a lot of their energy or encouragement for better health or better aim, maybe motivation, maybe towards more success or gain in life. So what the main question is, if we continue follow it, will it mislead us in the future life as a habit or as a karma connection?
Okay. Very long question, right? Okay. One more thing, right? And in our modern community, there's also the motivator. They will motivate you, right? Using many different methods. Okay, for earning, it will be useful. One more thing. Some of the method will be toxic for your life. I don't remember the name of the books. 48 Law or something? That kind of books. Have you ever seen? Huh? 48 Law or something, that kind of books? 48 Laws or that kind of books. Cover is a red color. Red and blue. Right? Book cover is a red and blue. 48 Law or something, that kind of books, right? Huh? 48 Power or something, that kind of books. Okay, anyway. Some of the informations are toxic. Right? We can say toxic, right? Be careful. So in this case, okay, you can follow, but the main thing is you must be wise enough. It's a good and bad. If something very bad, don't follow it. Something good, okay, you can follow it. Okay. Now modern community, there are many books for motivation. Many stories for motivation. Right? Some of them are just imaginary, not real. Some of them can be real. Anyway. So when we have to think about right? We cannot know what kind of motivator, what kind of material they use, right? That's I cannot say clearly. So we have to check when they give some information, is harmful for community, harmful for yourself. Although it's for your improvement, but for your wealth, don't do it. You don't need to follow this kind of things. It's something not very harmful for community, not harmful for yourself. Also, one more thing, it must be beneficial for the community, beneficial for yourself. Okay, you can follow that kind of tradition. It's not that bad. Okay? So that means you must choose, and you must be wise enough to choose.
So there are some tradition, they also copy some Dhamma in the Buddhism.
Sure.
And they may develop some kind of practice, exercise to improve health very
Sure.
much. But they influence their follower by some wrong information of Buddhism.
Sure.
Saying many things about the spiritual information, but it's wrong.
Okay.
So this kind, people easily get confused.
Sure.
Because they also see the benefit, but
Okay.
they may not have enough information to check
Sure,
about
okay.
the spiritual practice.
Okay. In this kind of case, we can say poison. Right? Actually, they just use some material from Buddhism, but they just trying to defame or destroying the image of Buddhism, right? This kind of case is a poison. So if they just use pure Buddhism or pure spiritual purpose, okay, we can follow it. Actually, we can see many people like that also in our modern society, right? Sometimes they just prove they are right, quoting some part of Buddha teaching. Okay.
So there are some question in Zoom again.
Okay.
So upekha of daily life, the upekha in the fourth jhana and sankarupekha, what are the difference in these upekha?
Actually, upekha in jhana is two heights. Not only upekha in fourth jhana, right? Upekha in that jhana also very high already. That means your mind will not follow calmness of the mind, pleasant feeling, all the pleasant feeling, right? This is called upekha in the jhana. Then for about sankarupekha jnana, it's very clear already. Your mind will may have more equanimity toward formation. Sankhara, this is very clear, right? Upekha in daily life, neither happiness nor unhappiness. Okay, now every day you can now practically, when you are listening to this Dhamma talk, you have equanimous feeling. Neither happiness nor unhappiness. You may have some small happiness moment, happy moment, when you can know something new. Right? When some of the passage will open your mind. In this kind of condition, you may have happiness. Maybe something a little bit funny, truth funny, for example, right? Then you may feel happy. Right? For example, then I just say, right? Untruth funny. If you see an arhat laughing very loudly, be careful, for example, right? This is untruth funny. Right? So similarly, if you see a Sotapanna disrobe, this is untruth funny. But you can get knowledge, right? You may be happy. Sometimes it's very true also, it will become funny, right? Okay. Okay, now, one more question now, down there. Maybe she must live in Mogul, maybe, right? Because her mother was born in Mogul. Okay.
Vandana Shadow. Shadow, as some parents are very flexible and some parents, our mother, father, they are very stubborn. So we tell them that we want to ordain for like few temporarily, but in our but we plan on staying that way for maybe all our life. So is it? But in our mind, we plan on staying that way our whole life. But we tell them that we only want to ordain temporarily. So is it also considered as cheating or deceiving our parents, even if we do it for the Buddha Sasana?
It is a what? It is
Even if we do it for the Sasana, Buddha Sasana.
No, is it doing for parents? What? Musawara for parents.
Yes, Bhante. Is it also considered as cheating or deceiving our parents?
Okay, right. To protect yourself, right? Right? To protect yourself. Okay, in this kind of case, actually we have two different conditions, right? For bhikkhu ordination and Sayalay ordination, we do different conditions. For bhikkhu, we need parents' agreement. If parents disagree, we're going to do anything. Right? Okay, as far as I know, there are some bhikkhu, they also cheat their parents. And we're ordaining just temporarily. Right? Our ordination, they don't disrobe. Their parents agree at the time, right? After ordination, they don't disrobe. But parents are not very happy. But later, that bhikkhu can walk very well. He becomes a little bit popular in the community. Parents become happy, right? Okay, this is for bhikkhu ordination. Okay, there will be some exception even for bhikkhu ordination. There's some exception. For example, parents are non-Buddhists. In bhikkhu ordination, you may have already known some part of question. We have some series of, maybe list of questions in the ordination day, right? For example, are you a man? Are you real man? Right? Right? That kind of question. Are you different dad? That kind of question, right? Finally, also mention, does your parents agree? Then does your parents give permission? That kind of question, right? So when parents agree, we can say my parents agree. We can answer like this, but sometimes parents are non-Buddhist. At the time when the instructor asks, does your parents agree? He can answer, my parents are non-Buddhist. Then no need permission all day. We have this kind of condition also, right? So that means in this kind of case, we can say a few different options, right? Just permission, asking permission for temporarily. After that, if you destroy or no, they cannot do anything. Right? So in this kind of case, you have good intention. Along with Musawara. Okay? Now mother will cry. Now mother will cry, right? Okay.
वन्दनामी साधु भन्दैछु विपश्यना गरेका व्यक्तिहरू अपायमा झर्ने चान्स कतिको हुन्छ अरे?
So, for yogis who have practiced up to vipassana, what are the chances they might fall into the four lower realms?
Actually, we cannot guarantee, right? It depends on our lifestyle also. For example, you may do vipassana, right? But after some time you don't practice anymore. You may have just normal daily routine as usual. It depends on what you do every day. For example, in your daily life, your mind just inclined to wholesome, good things. It becomes habits. Then sure, you can be reborn in the good destination. in their daily life, most of the time you may just have only bad intention, evil mind, bad speech, bad manner. In this kind of case, no guarantee. Right? So we should say daily life. Habitual. Okay, now. More than 9 already, right? Late already. You should share marriage. Okay, itawadaja amehi sambadam bunya sambadam sabbe deva numodandu sabbe buddha numodandu sabbe satta numodandu sabba sambati siriya idame nyadinam hotu sukhita hondu nyadayo idame nyadinam hotu sukhita hondu nyadayo idame nyadinam hotu sukhita hondu nyadayo idame bunyam asawakaya waham hotu idame bunyam nibbanasa bhajayo hotu mama bunya bhagam sabba satanam bhajemi de sabbe me samam bunya bhagam labandu sadhu sadhu sadhu.